Okay, let's talk about February 2026 because it was an absolutely wild month at the movies. We're going to break down all the final numbers, look at the surprise hits, the heavyweight fights, and of course, crowned the undisputed box office champion. So let's get right into the final score.
Every month is a competition, but February really felt like a championship match. We had some huge contenders step into the ring, all fighting for that number one spot. It was this high stakes game of perfect timing, marketing muscle, and just winning over the audience. So, after all that hype, all the massive opening weekends, and all the buzz, who actually came out on top? Which movie was left standing at the end of the month? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out. All right, it is time to reveal our medal winners. We're going to count them down from third place all the way to first. And trust me, the margins here were razor thin. These results might just surprise you. Taking the bronze medal is Paramount's Scream 7, pulling in a massive $50.9 million. And get this, it did all of that after opening on February 27th. It was only in theaters for a couple of days this month. What a powerhouse debut. It just proves this horror franchise is as strong as ever. And our silver medalist is Sony's action thriller GOAT, earning an incredible $70.2 million. For most of the month, this movie was in a dead heat for the top spot. I mean, it was one of the tightest races we have seen in a long, long time. Just a phenomenal performance. And here it is, your champion. The gold medal for February 2026 goes to Warner Brothers' Wuthering Heights with $70.3 million. It beat its closest competitor by less than $100,000. Can you believe that? An unbelievable photo finish to an absolutely epic box office battle. So let's just look at that podium one more time. You've got Wuthering Heights at number 1, GOAT in a breathtakingly close second, and Scream 7 rounding out a super strong top 3. Wow, it just goes to show you how intense the competition was this month. Okay, now that we've crowned our champions, let's zoom out a bit and look at the whole top 10, because this is where you really start to see the other big stories of the month play out, from the surprise hits to the absolute unstoppable giants. The biggest drama in February all kicked off on one very crowded weekend. On Friday, February 13th, 3 major movies all opened against each other, setting up a box office showdown for the ages. And you can see it right here. Our top 2 films, Wuthering Heights and GOAT, were practically tied. But right there in the mix was Amazon MGM's Crime 101, which carved out a really respectable $29 million for itself. What a weekend to be a movie fan. Now, before we go any further, let's just quickly define a key term you're going to hear: a holdover. Think of these as the marathon runners of the box office. They're movies that came out in previous months, but are still so popular they're raking in millions and staying in the top 10. And boy, did February have some serious holdovers. The rest of the top 10 tells such an interesting story. Right there at number 4, you've got Disney's Send Help, a huge holdover from January. A little further down, Angel Studios' faith-based film Solo Mio found a really solid audience, landing at number 6. And then you have the titans that just will not quit: Disney's Zootopia 2 and 20th Century's Avatar: Fire and Ash, still hanging out in the top 10 months after they came out. See, the story of the month isn't just about who won first place. It's about all the different kinds of success we saw. You had brand new blockbusters, and you had these long-running hits that just refused to go away. And this slide right here shows 2 totally different paths to success. On one side, you've got Wuthering Heights, the February powerhouse, which made almost all of its money this month. Then, on the other side, you have the holdover behemoth, Zootopia 2. Yeah, it only earned about $18 million in February, but look at its total gross, a staggering $424 million. Both of those are just incredibly impressive achievements. So, with all these different movies and different strategies at play, which studio can really say they won February? Was there one clear winner in the fight for market share? Well, as it turns out, the box office pie was sliced very, very evenly this month. It was incredibly close at the top, with Warner Bros. And Sony Pictures practically tied for the lead, each grabbing about 20% of the market. And Disney was right behind them, with Paramount and Amazon and MGM also taking home big chunks. There was no single dominant studio. This was a true multi-studio brawl. Okay, so what does this all mean? When we look back at this month-long fight for box office gold, what are the big lessons? Let's break down the key takeaways.
So here's what we learned. First, head-to-head competition is just brutal, and the winner isn't always who you'd expect. The race for number one was decided by less than $100,000. Just wow. Second, you can never, ever underestimate the staying power of a true blockbuster. Those holdovers from 2025, like Zootopia 2 and Avatar, are still major forces at the box office. And finally, genre diversity is thriving. From the horror fans who rushed out for Scream 7, to the faith-based audience for Solo Mio, to the thriller fans for Crime 101, different audiences are showing up in a big way.
And that brings us to the final thought here. February proved that a classic literary adaptation can go toe-to-toe with a huge action movie and win. It proved that horror is alive and kicking, and that last year's biggest hits are still in the game. So the big question is, where do the studios put their money next? What does this mean for the kinds of movies we'll be lining up to see a year from now? It's going to be fascinating to watch.